I wanted to talk a little bit about prosperity and how the government statistics create this lie, this fog that we can't see through. I was born in 1956, and what I see is that life hasn't changed all that much. When I look at the fundamental prosperity or quality of life, the standard of living, since the 50s, it isn't all that great a change. If you go back to the 1800s, we first got indoor plumbing, and that was a huge change in quality of life, not having to go out to the outhouse. Then we got we got electricity and indoor lights and the telegraph and then telephone and then refrigeration so that you didn't have to have the Iceman coming twice a week. Then we got radio and television. By the time I was born, we had all of these things. There's a couple more things that we have nowadays, like the internet delivering information to us, and we may have cell phones instead of hardwired telephones that come to the house. But basically, the quality of life, other than those two things, cell phones and the internet, is not all that different. Like I said, I was born in 1956, and recently I came across my dad's 1955 tax return. And you file the year after, so this is filed in 1956 in April. I was born in February, so this is the tax return he was filing the year I was born. What amazes me here is that he's a store manager in Salem, Oregon. He's claiming 2 dependents only. His salary, he got $9,600 that year was his total income. He only paid about $1,100. It's $1,096 of tax. So that's around 12% roughly income tax. And if you were in a low income bracket, 12% sounds, if you're at a very low income bracket, that sounds about appropriate. But I went to the U.S. Census Bureau. So here's the Census Bureau, Census of Housing. And you got to be careful when you look at tables like this on websites where you're getting information. This first data set is adjusted to $2,000, the year $2,000. So we have to go down here for home values measured in their nominal value, the value of the dollars the year the census was being taken. And in 1956, a single-family median price home in the state of Oregon was $6,800. In 1960, it was $10,500. So I'm figuring that $7,500, $8,000 tops is about what a single-family median price home cost in 1956 in Oregon, the year I was born. So here's my dad standing in front of the store that he managed. There's this hopped up, it looks like a Ford flathead motor here. And with that job as a store manager, his income was higher than a single-family median price home, significantly higher. So he's not in a low tax bracket. He's actually in an upper tax bracket, and it's only 12%. He's making a lot of money at $9,600 if you can buy a house for $7,500, $8,000. In Los Angeles, I'm not sure what a single-family median price home is, but let's go to the Census Bureau's website and see what this is the year 2000, and in California it says 211,000. So in Los Angeles in 2010, I would think maybe 250, 300,000 bucks maybe is what a single-family median price home is. So that means an auto parts store manager should be making $350,000, $400,000 a year, and that's just not happening. I was talking about the standard of living, and that we already had a television, and we had indoor lights and plumbing and telephone and all of that stuff, and that the new things that we've got, our information comes to our house with computers. And yeah, a lot of houses have 2 TVs, and we've got cell phones now, and you've got one for each person instead of. When we moved to Los Angeles in 1960, we moved to a house up on the hill with a swimming pool, upper middle class. My dad always drove things like Cadillacs and Lincolns, and he always had new cars, like I was saying. Every 1 to 2 years, he would buy a brand new car. And what I see when I look at these neighborhoods today, the same neighborhoods with the same houses, and yeah, we've added on a room maybe to a house, or somebody put on a second story, so the houses might be a little bit bigger, but the family size is actually smaller. Before the pill, average family was like 4 children in each family, and now we're at 2.3 children in each family. And it takes 2 income earners now to have the same 2 cars parked in front of that same house. 2 income earners working a lot harder than, back in the 1950s and 60s when I was a kid. The normal thing was that the man went to work and the woman stayed home. That was the average family. The women stayed home and raised the kids, and that's the way it was in my family. Now, both people have to work to have the same quality of life, the same standard of living. And so that's actually going backwards. You have, with 2.3 kids versus a larger family, you've got less expenses, yet 2 people have to work. You're working twice as hard, basically. And when you look at the debt loads, back in the 50s and the 60s, we didn't have credit card debt. That didn't exist yet. When my father died, the home was paid off. My mother didn't owe anything on the home. Now everybody refinances, and so the bank really owns the home, the bank owns your cars, the bank owns you. What is happening here is this is a huge transfer of wealth, and it is caused by our monetary system. It's caused, ever since we went off of gold and silver backing our currency, they've been able to just create and to expand the currency supply, and this transfers wealth out of your pocket to the banking sector. The government tells us that we've had this phenomenal increase in GDP. This goes back to 1960, and it's about $3,000 per person, and then we get up to $47,000 in about 2008, and it's contracting now. So this is GDP per capita. This is the prosperity of the United States per person. That's what this chart is showing you. And then we took that and adjusted it to inflation. And what they're telling us is that we're actually about 3 times more prosperous than we were in 1960. This doesn't go back to 1956 when I was born. If it did, about 3 times more prosperous. Does each family own 3 houses now and 6 cars? No, it's the same. So this is a lie. And what is happening here is this excess GDP is going to the banking sector and the richest top percent of the people in the country and the government. It's not going in your pocket. The average family is actually getting poorer because, like I said, it now takes 2 people to live basically the same standard of living as when I was a kid. And so if you educate yourself, if you try to see behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz here, who is that man behind the curtain? If you can pull that curtain back, you can put yourself on the same side of this wealth transfer that is going on. So take care of yourself. Cash in on this opportunity because it's huge. Don't let them line their pockets, you line yours. I'll see you later. Of about 4 ounces of gold. And if you start back in 1900 up to 1929, got out of whack, it went into a bubble to 18 ounces of gold. However, that was just the stock market moving. It was stocks moving, but not gold. Gold was $20.67 an ounce. Then the markets crashed, and it reverted past the mean down to just 2 ounces of gold in 1932. Then we went up in 1966 to about 28 ounces of gold. And then the stock markets went sideways, but gold began to move because it became free.